Hi, everybody. Welcome to A Better Lifestyle. My name is Richard.lesperance, and I go by the name of my man Richard. Today, my guest is Barb Davids, and I think you guys are gonna like this episode. We're gonna be talking about SEO. So, please, Barb, tell a little bit about yourself, and we'll get started.
Thanks, Richard. I have been a digital marketer for well over 20, 25 years. I don't know, I'm kind of dating myself, but that's okay. I used to work in corporate and sit behind a desk. And about, I guess it was 2018 or 2019, I decided to start my own business to help small business owners get more website traffic. Because when I was doing marketing and hiring out for the companies, and it just felt like there wasn't enough information out there or enough I guess, transparency with what was going on. So when I started doing my own business and working from the perspective of, I was doing, I guess I should back up a little bit. I was doing photography for a little while, fitness photography. And when I went to look and see how to do that specifically, it looked like I was just going down a rabbit hole. I couldn't figure out like what the heck to do. And I found that interesting considering I had been in the field for some time. So I went to some networking groups and got with some other photographers and found out they were also having some trouble. So it kind of grew from wanting to start my own business, work anytime, work anywhere, to helping photographers and then growing that into some more small businesses because it is sort of difficult, I feel like, when you don't know how to do SEO or content marketing and you try and Google it and you just get more confused. So that's not what we want, right? We just want to be able to figure it out, get it done, get more website traffic so we can do the thing that we do for our people.
You talk about the suite framework. Talk to us about that. The five.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a SWEET framework, SWEET. So basically 5 steps to get more website traffic. And the first one is S, which is select target keyword. So generally speaking, Google serves up one page per query. So it's not looking at it looks at an overall website, but it's only serving up one page from a website. So you want to pick one phrase, one target keyword, one thing that somebody's searching for that you can help them with, their challenge, and have a page on your website. And so you select the target keyword. The W stands for work on a blog post. So you want to create a blog post around that topic. And then you want to optimize that blog post so that it helps Google find it. So there's a ton of things that you can do on it, but essentially speaking, you want to make sure that your target keyword or the phrase that people are typing into Google shows up on the page. So the heading tag, inside the body copy, inside of image information, there's like a thing called image alt text. There's all kinds of things that you can do. I don't know how in depth or how techy you want me to get, but you can optimize the page to help Google see the page. And then E stands for enhance with summaries, the first E. And that's the page title and the page description. So when you go to Google, you notice you have the line, that's the title, and then you have a description underneath. That's what those are for. So you want to make them super compelling to want to make the person who's looking for the information want to click yours over somebody else's. A lot of times I liken it to like window shopping. You want to put something there so good that they want to step into your website. They want to see more of what you have. And then the second E is, now I forgot what the second E is. Let's see, establish trust. So you're going to put things on the page and your website that are about building authority, building credibility, so that when they stop at your website, they think, oh, yep, this person knows exactly what I'm talking about. Like, this is what I need. This is what I need help with. And things like that are at the end of your blog post. You can put a bio. You can have something as simple as a contact page. You'd be surprised about how many websites do not have like an about page, a contact page. Those simple things can do a lot for establishing credibility and trust with the person that's landing on your website. And then the T is tell the world. So once you publish this blog post, you want to distribute it out to the world. And it's not that if you just put it out there, Google's just going to know about it. It will take a little bit of time, and that varies. There's so many variables involved. It could take anywhere from like, the next day to 2 years. I've had a case where we published a blog post and it took Google 2 years to finally like it. It was just insane. Now that was probably one of my more extreme cases, but telling the world. So once you get done with the blog post, you can take and piecemeal it and repurpose it into other formats and distribute it among your channels and keep sharing it. So most of the time, the information that you put out there is probably going to be evergreen, where it's timeless. It's not necessarily, for most small businesses, it's not seasonal or trending or anything like that. So you can reshare it multiple times. So that's the suite framework.
Talk to us about the 7 SEO metrics.
The 7 SEO metrics. Yes. Okay. So I wasn't prepared for that one off the top of my head. I do have a list. So I'll give you some of the bigger ones that people should take a look at to know whether SEO is working. That's really where that stems from, is making sure that you have a return on your SEO. I think some people are hesitant about SEO because they don't know if they can track it or not. And so some of those metrics are simply looking in Google Analytics and looking at the organic traffic. So the way that you can see Google in there, you can see Bing, some of the other ones, but what you can do is, if you're tracking if you have Google Analytics set up, and once you set it up to track what that main thing is that you want people to do on your website, you can see how many downloads are happening, how many newsletter signups, whatever that main one thing is. And based off of that, you can determine how much traffic you need and if it's working. So let's say you have 1,000 visitors coming from organic and you have 100 people download your newsletter. That's what, 10% conversion rate. And then if you make a sale or they buy something from your newsletter, then you take that sale, that conversion rate, and then you can tell if that is working or not based off of, I forget what the actual is. It's like taking the 1,000 time, now it's all backwards. But anyway, there's that whole ROI. You can take it and you just have to track your Google Analytics in order to be able to see if there's a return. And then you can back it out too. So if you know your conversion rate of how many sales you get, then you can say, okay, if I've got 10% conversion rate and from the newsletter, then I need to get X amount of people downloading the newsletter. And if I convert that traffic at 10%, then I just take that and back it out to get however many website visits I need. So that's probably the main one that people wonder about in terms of metrics.
And how is the SEO world has evolved over the years?
That is a good question. I feel like it's not as turbulent. It is turbulent, but the core foundation of SEO has not changed. You want to give people for stuff on your website. So SEO, search engine optimization, is optimizing your website. The idea of SEO and what you need to do to your website to help it get found has not changed. It's about providing value to the person who is having a challenge, and you can solve that challenge. Now, the tactics may have changed a little bit, like how Google does their algorithm and how they're looking at your website, but the core of it is the same. So it's always been like the heading tag, and they've always said have these certain things on there, and other things do come up, but I think where it's going is where it is going to change quite a bit, because AI is happening now and we have these new browsers coming out. We don't even know where things are going. It's getting so crazy at the moment. I think all we can do is just still be helpful to the person who has the challenge that we can help them solve. So it's about just answering the questions that they have around it on the website and making sure that it's free from errors, that they can move around in the website, like none of that changes. Because still, so far, the AI tools have to get the information from somewhere, and that's your website. So that's not going to really change. How people get the information may change, some of the browsers that are coming out, but I think if small business owners remember that the idea behind how they work their website, that hasn't changed that much. Keep doing the thing that they do and sharing how they can help.
Are you implementing AI in your strategies with your clients?
Not in the way that probably people think. So implementing AI is a very broad term. AI is a tool, I feel like, but I haven't used it in the way that maybe some use. So some tools will have this like little thing over on the side that says enhance with summaries, or it'll say like Canva, even, or any tool like you use, they always have this little thing that pops up and says use this tool. I don't have that in my solutions. So what I encourage people to do is to use AI in ideation, or even coming up with, like, if somebody's trying to formulate their thought, to put that inside of there. But in the way that probably most people think of it, it's not like it's an automation. There's other things in the business, like I don't know what I would think of to use. I use like Zapier for things to automate some things. I think that's some form of AI, but in answer to your question, probably not. No.
I was more referring to like AI, like combining AI and SEO. So that's what I was referring to.
Yeah. Can you elaborate a little bit more?
I don't know, because I'm just like trying to see where AI is gonna fit with the SEO with the SEO game. So how is that gonna work?
It's essentially the same, because AI, when you type in, like let's say you use Gemini, or you use ChatGPT, or even Perplexity, any of these tools right now, if you are looking for some information about how to do your website, how to do SEO, what should I do for my page, and you type that into one of those AI tools, that information is coming from a website. So you still have to SEO, quote SEO, your website. You have to make it easy to be found in order to do that. So are the two related? Not maybe this, not directly, but in order to get found in SEO, in AI tools, you still have to have your website, because the information has to come from somewhere. They're not just making it up out of thin air. They are making it up, right? Sometimes they just come up with stuff, but they have to get the information from somewhere. So you want to make sure that your website still has information that it can use.
Hmm. What are the mistakes people make when it comes to optimizing their website?
I think the biggest mistake is that they think the one keyword needs to be plastered all over their website. And that doesn't really help Google. It more confuses Google. So if you have a phrase that you think that people use to find your website, and you put it on every single page, that's going to hurt more than it's going to help. And another one is not utilizing blogging. That is a huge one as well. And I know it's difficult. And for some industries, it's a little bit tougher than others to figure out like what to write on, but there's always a way to do it. And it helps Google to understand that you have the knowledge of whatever that person's searching for. If you just build a website with just your core pages, your about, your contact, your service, and your homepage, it doesn't give Google enough context to want to favor your website over somebody, for example, who does have a blog post and is talking about all the information around the subject.
So so that goes like people should do more of content marketing than for their website, right?
Absolutely. Yep.
Okay. And how long does it take to see results from the SEO?
I generally say 6 to 12 months. However, there is a catch. Sometimes if you find a phrase that's easy to compete with, and that maybe you can get Google to like your page really well, maybe it'll come up in a month, and then you'll get some traffic for that. Sometimes, like I said, that one extreme case I had took almost 2 years. So it's going to vary in between there. But generally speaking, it's anywhere from 6 to 12 months. But you can kind of feel too in the beginning, because you're trying to get things set up and you're building out your plan, and there's different steps that you can take, or you can put them in different orders or whatnot. But you'll feel it starting to work probably in like 3 months. I mean, you're going to be able to see little tweaks of it when you check your Google Search Console, a free tool from Google. It shows you where you rank on certain keywords. It shows what pages show up in the search. So you'll be able to see some of that stuff happening before then.
Are backlinks still relevant?
Yes. However, it is good backlinks. So there's still a lot of ickiness out there with backlinks and purchasing and not getting quality backlinks. You want to try and shoot for quality backlinks. If you go to one of these places that says, I've got 20,000 backlinks for $20, don't do it, because you're going to get really crap backlinks, and it could actually harm your website. Google might see that and be like, oh, they just got 20,000 backlinks, but look at where they're coming from. That's not in their guidelines. Like, that's not what you're supposed to do. So, and not only that, but if you do those, there's no guarantee those links are going to stay anyway, which you wouldn't want to because they're crap links. So the idea is to build, I always encourage people to build content that is share worthy. And we're even reach out to doing PR pieces. Like there used to be a thing called HARO, which was help a reporter out. And now it's called SOS, and I can't remember what it stands for, but there's a service that will email you and put you in touch with reporters who are looking for information. And that's a positive way to do backlinking. So always do it in a positive way. It does take time. It's very tedious, but it's definitely worth it.
Does social media play a big part in SEO?
I wouldn't say in the normal sense it does with SEO. It does from a standpoint of credibility and authority. So Google does look that you have entities out there or you have profiles out there and that you are contributing, or maybe it's not stale. I don't know that they have a specific guideline to like how long you have to be posting for, but if it sees that you're out there and you're being talked about, then yeah, that plays a role in SEO, especially if other people are mentioning you on social. So that could be a very nice authority factor that Google would look at.
I heard you were talking about Google My Business. Talk to us about that.
That is a great underutilized tool. So there's a Google, it's now called Google Business Profile, and it's free. You can list your business on Google. You don't even have to have a physical presence. So you set up your Google Business Profile and you can do there's like three main things. There's your name, which you want to make it just be your name. Don't put any keywords in there. Fill out the description and then the category. Those are the three main things that Google looks at outside of proximity, which is the very first one. When somebody's typing something, if they're very close to you, that is the main way that they look at it, but there's other factors that they look at too. So if you fill out those things, that optimizes your business profile. And then you can post there once a week. It's kind of like social, but on a smaller scale. It's really just showing that you have activity for Google. And it does automatically come into Google Analytics to track this under the organic area. So you want to make sure when you do put your website on the listing to put tracking code. And I have some information on my website that people can get for that. But that way, when it comes into Google Analytics, you can see specifically that it's coming from the Google business listing, because Google themselves, they don't separate them out. I don't know why, but anyway, but there is a way that you can track it.
So what's the main thing that Google looks for on when it comes to websites?
The main thing that Google looks for is helpful content. And basically that means just putting it out there, like information, answering people's questions. And then outside of that, it's making sure that this website is technically sound, that the phrase is, it kind of goes by phrase. So it doesn't really look at a website as whole until it sees the phrase. So you see the phrase that somebody types into the search query, and then it goes out and looks for all of these websites and says, okay, who's talking about this? And then it says, company A is talking about it, company B, company C. And then it'll be like, okay, well, what does company A stand for? Like, what do they have on their website on the page that says it's talking about it? Or do they have credibility? Do they have an author bio? Do they have backlinks? Do they have Google reviews? Does company B have this, this, and this? Does company C have this, this, and this? And then out of all of that, it gets weighted and it decides, okay, well, which one is going to show? And it's going to pick the one that it thinks is going to have the biggest impact on the user. So whichever one it thinks is going to give them the information.
And how important it is for your website to be mobile friendly?
100%. They do mobile first now. So it used to be that Google would go scrape websites from a desktop, and now they just scrape them from the mobile. But so that's why it needs to really be friendly. There's a thing called Page Speed Insights that Google has. Again, it's another free tool that you can go and see and find out your score to see what it thinks of your website from the mobile standpoint.
Besides Google Analytics, are there any tools that people could use to when it comes to SEO?
Google Search Console is my biggest and best recommendation. I feel like all the tools that I've tried, they just tend to get a little bit confusing for the normal small business owner. And really all you want to do is be able to know, okay, where is my traffic coming from? And then Google Search Console gives you information direct from Google. Whereas some of the other tools, they can tell you things, but they're kind of inferring based off of how they connect. But not only that, they have so much other stuff going on that you probably won't use. So it kind of becomes like it's kind of like a chore to go in there. So I like to use Google Search Console the most.
And how often do you think people should work on their website so it could be optimized?
So I've been changing my mind about this one. I feel like because you do SEO and it's like a long-term commitment, but it's really about getting your website set up and ready and optimized, and then you move into content marketing. So I would say if you don't have a lot of time and you don't have the ability to hire out, I would say if you could spend at least 10 hours a month would be ideal. That might help move the needle. If you can spend more, that's great because then you can get it done faster and you can get maybe some more content out, that kind of thing. But depending on where you're starting from, it could take as little as maybe, I don't know, maybe 5 to 8 hours to like set up your website for some of the smaller ones and get it ready. And then you just build out your plan, your content plan around those keywords. And so you're optimized, but then you go into content marketing.
And if someone wants to, let's say, increase their visits, like on a monthly basis, let's say they want to 3x or 4x, like from 1,000 visit a month to 10,000 to 100K, how would they go about it?
Well, first they need to have patience because if you there's always ways that you could probably do it in a black hat sort of way, in a very negative, non-sustainable way. But you could get penalized by Google. It could take your traffic away if you're not doing it in a very good manner. So I would say have patience, first of all. And then as you are building out, build content around terms that are going to give you that much traffic. So you're going to want to look for keywords that have high search volume, ideally low competition, but sometimes that doesn't happen, and build content around that. And then if you build out more content than other people, then that's where you get some more of the traffic. On top of that, I think outside of SEO, because if you're just wanting to get more traffic, you could use other marketing methods. So it might be like this, guesting on a podcast, or it might be doing a PR piece with somebody and trying to figure out a way to get in front of more people that way. Or it might be doing paid ads, which that's a whole nother story. But there's always ways to like increase really fast, which I would say would be more paid ad side. If somebody were like, I need traffic right now, SEO is not the answer. So.
You talk about good matters and bad matters. What are the bad matters?
In terms of like bad manners from.
Yeah, growing it fast because that's what you were saying before.
Oh, like, because there was an example where this company had done an absurd amount of content. Like they pumped out, I don't even know how many blog posts per month, and they saw the traffic go super, super high. Well, unfortunately, they were bragging about it, which that's fine, I guess, right? They're excited. They were great. They were like, hey, this works. But then Google saw that and they were penalized. They didn't get any traffic after that. They got dropped off because they were really only trying to build content and to get traffic rather than the core purpose of helping their ideal customer. So
So it could be very overwhelming for someone who's not too familiar with that world. What would you say to them in regards to education?
I think my best piece of advice is to have patience with it and find a resource that makes sense to them. So there is a lot of them out there, but don't get pulled into every single different resource. Find like one or two maybe, and then find one that sits well. So like there's some places that I go that I feel like they're telling me the truth. I feel like they have really good explanations happening. Like you can just feel good. Like I learned something from their information. And then there's others where it's kind of like surface level. There's not a lot there and it doesn't really help. So I think finding a good resource is probably the easiest. And especially if somebody's trying to learn it on their own, you don't really have to learn it, right? Like an actual professional would, like I would. You just need to know enough to do it for your website. So it's about trying to figure out, okay, what goal do you have? Who's my audience? And what can I help with them? What can I share with them on my website to help them get where they need to be?
Talk to us about your podcast.
The Small Business Sweet Spot, it is for small business owners who would like direct actionable information. And every week I provide a digital marketing takeaway. And then the other, I do 2 episodes a week. One is a digital marketing takeaway, and the other one is an episode interview based off of other things that I like in my business. So personal improvement, business improvement. I even had a yoga teacher on there one time just talking about breathing and keeping calm in the chaos, and so things around our business, because as small business owners, we tend to have to do a lot of different things.
Where can people find you on social media or the internet?
So the best place to find me is compassdigitalstrategies.com. I have all the information there. There's even like an SEO planner. There is a workbook for the suite framework that we talked about in the beginning. And then also my newsletter, the Digital Marketing Takeaway.